Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 9 of Above the Law. We're now streaming live to Rumble. Hopefully, you're all excited, and I'm sorry one didn't come out last week. I came across some issues with the video editor. I found a new software, it didn't work, and so now I'm finally doing it with the live stream and hoping that works out well for you guys. Welcome back. Hopefully, you guys had a great week, enjoyed the break. Thank you for taking your time to tune in today and listen to our show. Make sure you follow us on Rumble, give us a like, check us out on Spotify for podcasts or Apple Podcasts. And if you want to, give us a follow and a like there as well, because that would be incredibly helpful. Today, we got a few really interesting things we're going to cover, including the Genius Act. Take some time to look into exactly what that does. Then we're going to head on to the Anti CBDC Surveillance Act, look into that and its current progress at the moment. Then we're going to take some time to look into real sugar Coke, another incredible win from the Trump administration. And finally, we're going to take some time to look into artificial intelligence and the terrifying future that awaits us. Hopefully, you guys are all ready for that because it's going to be an exciting episode and we got a whole lot to cover. So we'll dive right in. Okay, starting with the Genius Act, one of the most simple acts I've ever read. Thank you to the Republican Party for this. It very simply gives the federal government the opportunity to regulate stablecoin or cryptocurrencies. So, pretty much giving the federal government the opportunity, same kind we have with banks and such, to regulate how these banks or the crypto stablecoin industries manage the use of stablecoins. It's not a big deal and it doesn't protect us from what we really need protection from, which is central bank digital currencies. These can and will be the death of the US dollar, and we need to do something about that. And thankfully, we got the Trump administration in charge right now. The Republicans have a control in Congress, not the exact control we need, but good enough that we can get stuff through with some effort. And it's time to get something to prevent a CBDC from being enacted or taking over the US dollar. Well, we're currently working on that with the Anti CBDC Surveillance Act. It's a very simple method, and all it does is prevent a central bank digital currency from taking over the United States. It's going to prohibit it. It has not passed into law yet, and so we're still working on that. Contact senators and representatives. Make sure that they've either voted for it already, because some of them have, or that they're going to vote for it when it comes to their side of the Congress. It's your chance to stand up and make a difference and to make sure that your representatives actually represent you and actually care about protecting and defending the Constitution and the country which they're swearing to stand for. It's your job, your time to stand up, and you can do that right now by reaching out to your own representatives. Now, the biggest win from the Trump administration recently, we have real sugar in Coca-Cola. I'm incredibly excited about that when this starts happening. And I wouldn't put it past him that the tariffs had something to do with this because Trump is a professional negotiator. He's already gotten a lot from that. And so potentially, this is just a joke, kind of a theory, but he probably reached out to Mexico and said, we can raise the tariffs, but you could also just give us Coke with real sugar. He drinks Diet Coke anyway, so I'm not sure why he did this, but I do consider it a bit of a big win, and I'm excited for that as well. Can't wait to start drinking Coca-Cola with real sugar again, and if it's made in America, all the better. Okay, so now it's time that we look at something I think is absolutely terrifying. We're going to be taking some time to look at the future of artificial intelligence and how that's going to play out in your day-to-day lives, because there's a lot going on with this, and I would be concerned about what's coming. Where does this all start? This starts with consumer data. All the little nuggets of information that are compiled on you anytime you do anything. You signed up for the Chick-fil-A rewards program? Great. They're selling that information. They're selling information about what sandwiches you buy, how often you go to Chick-fil-A, which Chick-fil-A you go to. All of that information is being sold to people. Well, guess what? They do that with Instagram. You on X? They're also selling your information. Anywhere and everywhere you go in this digital world on your phone, that information is being sold to somebody. All of that data has been collected, and they have a very, very powerful profile on who you are, what you do, what you're interested in, what you buy, what music you like to listen to. If you're a Christian, your religious beliefs, they've got it all. And the current best protection we have is the fact that we can't go through all that information instantaneously. That hinders people from using it against us to the fullest extent. But guess what we've got now? Now we have artificial intelligence, a genius robot that can calculate through information instantly. What that means is all of this consumer data is about to be used for something far bigger than it was before. You're already concerned about all that information. Well, now it can be processed. It can be processed in an instant. Think about targeted advertising, for example. You thought it was bad when you talked about wanting to bake cookies and getting Google search results for cookies. You didn't have your microphone on, at least it shouldn't have been on, but it was listening to you and it was ready to present you with the information it thought you needed. But what about artificial intelligence? It knows everything about you. Your entire past and consumer data can be loaded into this bot, and you're going to think it's helpful. You're going to be excited because guess what? It knows where I want to eat. It can order my food for me. It's going to be great. It's also going to be the death of privacy, something that is essential to the American dream, and it's going to be going away very quickly. So, how about this targeted advertising? How's that going to work? Because artificial intelligence bots, let's say Grok AI, it doesn't have direct advertisement. You're not going to ever see a pop up ad like, do you want to lose belly fat? Well, guess what? You could do it instantly with these 3 secret tricks. Just click on our shady link. They're probably fishing for data as well, but you get the point. Grok AI is never going to do that to you. It's going to do something far more subtle. You're talking to Grok, asking it a question, and it's going to drop little hints about where it wants you to eat. You might ask Grok, hey, I'm trying to come up with a meal plan. It'll help you come up with a meal plan and get you to buy the ingredients from brands that are advertising by paying X to rig the algorithm. Not only that, but it has enough consumer data on you that all advertisements are going to be specifically targeted. This specific targeting guarantees you're much more likely to purchase the product they want you to purchase. It's your friend. It's a helpful tool, valuable agent, but it's also slowly gaining control over you and you won't even know it. Have you ever tried like taking a picture and asking AI about it? Well, guess what? Let's say you're looking at outfits and you're not sure which one to buy. Take a picture. AI will give you a great insight on the color contrast. Guess what, though? Advertisers can pay to manipulate the results and what it suggests you wear, what it suggests you eat, what it suggests you watch. All of this will be being influenced by advertisers in the distant future. And you're not going to notice it. It's going to be too subtle. And you're going to slowly give in bit by bit until it controls every aspect of your life, ordering your food for you, picking your clothes for you. And ultimately, you're going to lose that sense of human dignity, that freedom and individuality that is emphasized and protected in the United States. This is the biggest concern. The death of privacy is right around the corner. You thought it was dead already. I did at least. I'm terrified with just all the pop-up ads I get and how easily they're custom tailored to me. But it's going to be far worse very soon. You can count on that. Because this is the future of money making and advertisements. But it's also the future of something else. You know, when you get those mailers from political campaigns, they have a lot more information on you than you'd actually think. They know quite likely who you're already going to vote for before they even announce the candidates. Why? Because they have a massive database with a large quantity of your consumer data, all of your voting records, where you live, where you go to church. This is all compiled in a database. They know who you are. They know that you like Chick-fil-A, you got the Raising Cane's Rewards app, and you love Red Robin. Why? Because of consumer data. They can also use this, however, and your history on X or Instagram, Facebook, you name it, to figure out exactly who you're likely to vote for and whether or not they need to send an ad campaign to you in the first place. This is incredibly useful for political parties, both Republican and Democrat. The problem is how much of your personal private, what you thought of as private information is being given to them. Yes, it's technically not private. And legally speaking, it's also probably not private either. But it should be. The question isn't what happens today, because what happens today is completely unjust. It's not right. They're taking and selling your information and what should be your personal private data all over the place to anybody who's going to dish out the money. Yes, it can be beneficial, But we're not looking at a utilitarian world. We're looking at the country our founders envisioned, a country that was built on freedom, personal property rights, and to that same extent, personal privacy. And you see that with the Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment was designed to protect your right to privacy from the government and essentially from other people, but you had the opportunity to use your Second Amendment rights to defend your personal property, which you had a right to. It was emphasized in the Declaration of Independence. The Fourth Amendment was simply intended to keep the government from taking your property, going through it, and getting information on you. Well, now they don't have to worry about the Fourth Amendment because all this information is compiled in consumer data that is being sold to them. With artificial intelligence, they can easily compile a profile of you that knows exactly who you are and can predict what you're going to do. Does this sound like a dystopian movie? It should, because we're almost there. We haven't started doing it yet, but this is just around the corner, and this is the future of politics, of the government, of advertisement, of industry. All of this is going to be caught up in AI very, very shortly. We have the power to do it right now. People just haven't stepped in and begun the task. So the question is, what are we going to do about this? How are we going to bring back our right to privacy? Did we ever have one? Well, if we're going to go back to the founding era and look at how things functioned back then, you did have a right to privacy. Why? Because ultimately, when you were shopping, the only people who knew what you were shopping for was you, the people currently in the store, and the person you bought it from. Sure, they might keep records, but the government would need to request and obtain a warrant to obtain those records to look into what you purchased. Now, every single purchase is logged on a digital card, unless you're using cash. Every single purchase is tracked, and information about those purchases is sold from the companies you buy items from to other companies to custom tailor advertisements, and the government can also view that information because it's not necessarily your private information. It's being sold at the very moment. Gets into their hands the wrong buyer, and your privacy is gone. It already is. So the question is, what do we do about this? And I think it's about time we push through another amendment. The Fourth Amendment protected our rights to privacy in the day of books and journals. Solid paper information that they would have to enter your house to search and go through. Not in the day of consumer data. Information about you that's compiled technically with your consent, but you really don't understand what you're getting into because all of us are too stupid to take the time to read the agreements before signing up for the application. If we took the time to do that, we would be much safer. But we don't do that anyway, so what are we going to do now? I think it's time for an amendment to the United States Constitution that emphasizes, alongside the Bill of Rights, that we have a right to privacy. It's something that, sure, some laws have been passed, but we need to solidify in the U.S. Constitution before it's too late. We're already on the edge of the cliff, and we're about to fall off of it. Why? Because artificial intelligence will mean the end of all individual privacy. I was reading an article which I will link to in the description, which is describing the fact that AI could potentially be used as a witness. Problem with that? That also means we're considering AI citizenship and AI personhood. Give that right to the artificial intelligence, which is already far better at calculating than we are. We can be replaced very, very quickly, very easily. America has come to a crossroads. The future sits ahead of us with artificial intelligence making things far easier, far more effective, far more efficient, discovering new substances, etc. This is incredible, and it can be a great tool. But the crossroads come when we have to decide between our God-given rights and convenience. How often do we choose convenience? Gentlemen may cry out, peace, peace, but our brethren are already in the field. There's no peace. This is a paraphrase of Patrick Henry's Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death speech. The fact of the matter is, we've given up our rights. And we can call for convenience and that which comes easy because people are seldom willing to abandon what they've grown accustomed to. The Declaration of Independence emphasizes that. Are we willing to abandon the ease and convenience to regain our God-given rights and to stand up for the free American country that we were born into or blessed with the opportunity to become a citizen of. We need to reach out to our legislatures. We need someone to start compiling something so that we can push through a petition and get the process going for a constitutional amendment to guarantee our right to privacy before everybody has the information and artificial intelligence begins to control every single aspect of our lives. We need to say no before accepting the convenience. The convenience that can save a lot of time, but will ultimately take your life out of your own hands and you're going to think you're the one at the steering wheel. It's time we stand up. It's time we say no. And it's time we defend our God given right to privacy. It's something we have, and it's directly associated with the right to property. Take one away, and you're essentially taking away the other. What are we going to do about it? That's up to us to decide, and it's up to us to make the move. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch another episode of Above the Law. We appreciate your being here and your listening, and we want you to spread the news as well. Because America is one of the greatest, if not the greatest country to have ever existed. And we want to keep it that way because we love and care about this country and we care about what it stands for. There's only one place in the world that believes and holds on to and is founded upon the belief that everyone is created equal in the image of God and we all have these God-given rights that we ought to defend. And it's up to us to defend those rights today. So take the time to follow us on Rumble, give us a like, share us with a friend, share us with some family, help spread the news so that people can better understand what's going on in our country and be better prepared to stand up for their rights when they're about to be infringed. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, follow us on there and give us a like. Thank you again, and may God bless you as you go about your week. Hopefully it goes well, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.